Because empty space is continuous, the only hypothesis in which it is possible to explain the existence of movements and consequently of all reality, no living being ends or has an end around itself. Because everything in the universe is perfectly connected or interconnected by the continuity of empty space, each living being is always the entire universe at the same time. We'll see the logical conclusion on this later. The concept of motion is at the basis of all physics. It has already been said that the concept of motion is the most important concept in physics. We realize that a physical object moves when it changes its position in space relative to other physical objects. Physical objects are free to change their position in space relative to each other. Such a physical phenomenon is only possible or permitted because empty space is a continuous way. Points located in space are never physically independent or in fact separate points, but contrary to the individual definition of points, they form a single extended whole, perfectly united by continuity, the result of their equality, the unique and infinitely extensive void. If empty space were a discrete or discontinuous way formed by actually individually separated parts, no movement would be possible. The movements only exist or are allowed because the position that a physical object occupies in space in relation to all the others it may occupy is indifferent, the same, or even not physically different. Saying that a physical object occupies space at the space is not a fully exact expression. Because it is formed from empty space, because it always has the same nature as empty space, each and every physical object always occupies a place of space and not at the space. Motion is the physical event or phenomenon of the change of position or place of objects in relation to other objects. Motion is a physical event or phenomenon that occurs in empty space. The possibility of an object changing its position from point A to point B is allowed by the perfectly agglutinating physical continuity of these 2 points that makes them a single way, indistinguishable or inseparable in fact. It is impossible to satisfactorily explain the concept of motion in a scenario where empty space is discrete or discontinuous, or where it has a point A and a point B that are physically independent in fact or separated. The perfect unity of the void between any points located in this environment always makes a binding union appear, a tension, a force of attraction always existing between any of these points. Such attractive force between points located in empty space makes very simple physical objects appear in the form of a stretched line. Regardless of their length, all points located on the same line or chord through empty space are always instantly communicated. A disturbance or variation in the voltage of the line tends to travel along the line, as it is indifferent to the position that this oscillation occupies in the line in relation to the nature of the line itself by the continuity or constitutive equality between all the positions of the line. Every physical object is always a composition of relative oscillations in lines of empty space. Every physical object always tends to travel through empty space, and this never means an effective displacement in relation to empty space itself because of its continuity. Every journey of any physical object through empty space is never an absolute displacement in relation to empty space itself, because the continuity of empty space completely prevents the distinction or separation of empty space into different, really separate positions. What can relatively vary between the different positions in the empty space is the value of the tension of the empty space. If a point in empty space were able to move absolutely in relation to the infinitely many other points located in empty space, that point would cease to be a well-defined location and would become another. If point A of empty space were really capable of moving to point B in an absolute way, point A would no longer be point A and would become point B. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and give your like if you enjoy it.